What if Ahsoka saved Anakin on Mustafar? In Revenge of the Sith, we witnessed Anakin's transformation into Darth Vader after his brutal duel with Obi-Wan on the volcanic world of Mustafar. Left burned and broken on the lava banks, Anakin was rescued by Emperor Palpatine and encased in the iconic black suit that would define him for decades. From there, he lived the rest of his life believing he had killed Padmé, consumed by guilt and hatred. But what if things were different? What if his former Padawan, Ahsoka Tano, had arrived just in time to save him? How different would the galaxy have been if Anakin had been given a chance at redemption before it was too late? Well, in this alternate timeline, that's exactly what we'll be diving into. So, let's get right into it. Our story begins when the siege of Mandalore had ended in victory, but Ahsoka Tano felt no triumph. Standing in the command bridge of her Republic cruiser, she watched as Maul was secured in a specialized containment unit. The former Sith Lord's words still echoed in her mind, his desperate warnings about Anakin and the coming darkness. "Commander Tano?" Rex approached, removing his helmet. "Maul is secured. What are your orders?" Ahsoka closed her eyes, feeling a disturbance in the Force unlike anything she had ever experienced. Waves of anguish, rage, and despair crashed against her consciousness like a tsunami of darkness. "Rex, I have to go," she said, her voice heavy with urgency. "Something terrible is happening to Anakin. I can feel it." "But Commander, we have our orders to—" "No, Rex. This is bigger than orders. I have to find him." As her ship jumped to hyperspace, Ahsoka meditated, trying to understand the visions flooding her mind. She saw flashes of blue and red lightsabers clashing, the glow of molten lava, and most disturbingly, Anakin's eyes, no longer the warm blue she remembered, but blazing yellow with hatred. Midway through her journey, the ship's communications crackled to life with an emergency transmission. Rex's voice filled the cockpit, but it sounded different, cold, mechanical. "All clone troopers, execute Order 66. Repeat, execute Order 66. Ahsoka's blood ran cold. Order 66? She didn't know what was that. But before she could figure it out, another vision struck her with devastating clarity. She saw Anakin, his body consumed by flames, lying broken on the shores of a lava river, Mustafar. That's where he was. Without hesitation, she changed course. The volcanic world of Mustafar was a hellscape of fire and ash. As Ahsoka's ship descended through the toxic atmosphere, she could sense the echoes of a titanic battle in the Force. Two familiar presences had clashed here, master and student, locked in combat that should never have been. Landing near a massive mining facility, she rushed toward the strongest source of pain she had ever felt. There, on a bank of black volcanic sand, she found him. Anakin Skywalker lay motionless, his body horribly burned. His legs were gone, his remaining arm was charred, and his beautiful face was barely recognizable. But he was alive, barely. "Anakin!" she cried, rushing to his side. "What happened to you?" His yellow eyes flickered open, focusing on her with difficulty. "Ahsoka," his voice was a rasp, barely audible above the bubbling lava. You came back." "I never left, Sky Guy. Not really." Tears streamed down her face as she gently lifted his broken form. "I'm getting you out of here." "No, let me die. I've done terrible things." "Padmé, she's dead because of me." "That's not true, Anakin. You're not thinking clearly. Let me help you." Aboard her ship, Ahsoka worked frantically to stabilize Anakin's condition, using what medical supplies she had and drawing upon the healing techniques Master Obi-Wan had taught her. She managed to stop the worst of the bleeding and ease his pain through the Force. "Where are we going?" Anakin asked weakly. "Alderaan. There's a medical facility there. You're going to be okay." "The younglings," he whispered, his voice breaking. "I killed them all. The Sand People. Padmé, everyone I touch dies." "Stop it," Ahsoka said firmly. "That darkness, that's not you. That's what he made you become." "He? Palpatine. He's been manipulating you, Anakin. Everything he told you was a lie." Anakin's eyes flashed with anger. "You don't understand. He was the only one who could save her. The Jedi wanted her to die." "The Jedi?" Ahsoka knelt beside him. "Anakin, the Jedi don't even know about Padmé. How could we want something we don't know about?" For the first time since she'd found him, doubt flickered in those yellow eyes. The medical facility on Alderaan was in chaos. News of the Jedi Purge was spreading across the galaxy, and medical staff worked around the clock treating wounded Republic loyalists. Ahsoka managed to get Anakin into a private treatment room just as two familiar figures arrived. "Ahsoka?" Obi-Wan Kenobi appeared in the doorway, his robe singed and his face etched with grief. Behind him stood Yoda, leaning heavily on his Geimer stick. "Master Obi-Wan!" Ahsoka rushed to embrace her former master's master. "Thank the Force you're alive, as are you, young one," Yoda said, his ancient eyes focusing on the medical bed, where Anakin lay unconscious. "But great pain in him I sense. He's lost, Masters. The dark side has consumed him," but she looked between them desperately. "There's still good in him. I can feel it." Obi-Wan approached the bed slowly, his face a mask of sorrow. "Ahsoka, you don't understand what he's done. He helped destroy the Jedi Temple. He killed younglings." "I know," she said quietly, "but he's also the man who saved my life countless times. The man who never gave up on anyone. That person is still in there." As if responding to their voices, Anakin's eyes fluttered open. When he saw Obi-Wan, they immediately filled with rage. "You left me to die," he snarled, trying to sit up despite his injuries. "Anakin, please," Obi-Wan said, his voice heavy with regret. I couldn't bring myself to finish it. You were my brother." "I know." Obi-Wan's composure finally cracked. "Do you think this was easy for me? Do you think I wanted to fight you?" Yoda stepped forward, his presence calming the tension in the room. "Pain and suffering the dark side feeds on. But stronger still, love and compassion are..." "Love?" Anakin laughed bitterly. "Love is what destroyed me. Love is what killed her." "No, Anakin." Ahsoka knelt beside his bed. "Fear destroyed you. Fear of loss. But love is what brought me back to save you." Anakin looked at her. Really looked at her for the first time since she'd found him. "Why? After everything I've done, why would you save me?" "Because you saved me first. When I was accused of bombing the temple, when everyone else had given up on me, you never stopped believing. You taught me that loyalty means standing by someone, even when they fall." Tears began to flow from Anakin's eyes. Real tears, not the tears of rage he'd shed on Mustafar. "But the things I've done, there's no coming back from that." "There's always a choice," Obi-Wan said softly. "Always a chance to choose light over darkness." "Padmé," Anakin whispered. "Is she really?" The three Jedi exchanged glances. It was Yoda who spoke. "Died in childbirth, she did. But not by your hand. By a broken heart," the medical droid said. "She died believing there was still good in you," Ahsoka added. "Her last words were about the good man you used to be." Over the following days, the three Jedi worked together to heal Anakin. Not just his body, but his spirit. Advanced prosthetics replaced his lost limbs, and through their combined efforts in the Force, they were able to heal much of the tissue damage that should have been permanent. "Working together, stronger we are," Yoda observed as they completed another healing session. "Balance, restored it must be." Ahsoka watched as color slowly returned to Anakin's face, his eyes gradually shifting from yellow back to blue. But she could sense the war still raging within him. "I can feel him," Anakin said one evening as they sat together. "Sidious, Palpatine. He's searching for me." "Then we need to end this," Obi-Wan said. "He's the source of all this pain." "No," Anakin stood, testing his new legs. "This is my fight. He used me, manipulated me, turned me into a monster. And for what? Power? Control?" His eyes blazed, but this time with righteous anger, not hatred. "Anakin," Ahsoka placed a hand on his arm. "You don't have to face him alone." "Yes, I do. This is my mess to clean up." That night, while the others slept, Anakin quietly gathered his lightsaber and what few belongings he had. He left a note for his friends. "Some journeys must be taken alone. If I don't return, know that you saved me in every way a person can be saved." By the time they discovered his absence, he was already halfway to Coruscant. Palpatine sat in his throne room, his yellow eyes gleaming with anticipation. Through the Force, he had sensed his former apprentice approaching. "Lord Vader," he said as the throne room doors opened, "you have finally come home." But the figure that entered was not the broken, suit-bound Sith he expected. Anakin Skywalker stood before him, whole and determined, his blue lightsaber ignited. "My name," he said, his voice steady and strong, "is Anakin Skywalker, and you are going to pay for what you've done." Palpatine's expression shifted from anticipation to rage. "Foolish boy, you think those pathetic Jedi can save you? I am your destiny." "My destiny," Anakin replied, "is my own choice." The battle was fierce and terrible. Lightning crackled through the air as the Emperor unleashed his full power, but Anakin was no longer the conflicted young man who had knelt before this throne. He fought with purpose, with clarity, and yes, with controlled anger at the injustices this monster had perpetrated. "You killed my wife!" Anakin roared, pressing his attack. "You destroyed my life! You turned me into everything I hated! I gave you power. I gave you the chance to save her. You gave me nothing." Anakin's blade found its mark, piercing the Emperor's heart. "You took everything from me, but I won't let you take anyone else." Palpatine crumpled, his yellow eyes dimming as the dark side that had sustained him for so long finally left his body. "Impossible," were his final words. As Anakin stood over his former master's body, he felt the darkness that had plagued him for so long finally begin to lift. The rage was still there, but it no longer consumed him. Instead, it had served its purpose: justice for those who had been wronged. Anakin! He turned to see Ahsoka and Obi-Wan rushing into the throne room, their lightsabers drawn, ready to help him fight. "You came," he said, a small smile crossing his face. "Of course we came," Ahsoka replied. "You didn't really think we'd let you face this alone, did you?" "We're stronger together," Obi-Wan added. "We always have been." But as the reality of what had happened, what he had done in his fall to the dark side, truly hit him, Anakin fell to his knees. The weight of his crimes, the children he had killed, the friends he had betrayed, crashed down upon him like a tidal wave. "I'm so sorry," he sobbed. "I'm so sorry." Without hesitation, both Ahsoka and Obi-Wan knelt beside him, wrapping him in their arms. "We know," Ahsoka whispered, "and we forgive you. The path back to the light is long and difficult," Obi-Wan said softly. "But you don't have to walk it alone." As the three Jedi held each other in the ruins of the Sith's throne room, the Force itself seemed to sigh with relief. The balance so long disturbed was finally beginning to heal. Anakin Skywalker had returned, not as the hero he once was, but as something perhaps even greater. A man who had faced the ultimate darkness and found his way back to the light. The Empire would fall, not through a 20-year rebellion, but through the courage of those who never gave up on each other. And in the end, love, not fear, not hatred, but love, had indeed proved stronger than the dark side. In the years that followed, Anakin would work tirelessly to undo the damage he had caused. He could never bring back those he had killed, but he could ensure that their sacrifice was not in vain. Together with Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and the surviving Jedi, he would help rebuild the Order, this time founded not on rigid doctrine, but on compassion and understanding. The galaxy would heal, as would Anakin's soul. And though Padmé was gone, her faith in the good man he could be had ultimately saved not just him, but the entire galaxy from a darkness that might have lasted forever. Sometimes the most powerful act is not to strike down your enemy, but to save your friend. And sometimes saving someone means being willing to be saved yourself.